Anybody here yet? I'm a little early. Where's all your text? Let's see. Well, I jumped the gun here. Good morning, Philippines. And somebody, who have I got on board? Let's have a cup of Joe and have a go. Or maybe when they say there's only one viewer, it's me. Can somebody send me a text and let me know that if you're receiving this or not? Ah, British expat. Mr. Childs, nice to see you here. Thank you. Oh, you have a brownout in. Ian's got a brownout. Oh, okay. Well, before I start, I just wanted to maybe go over some of the parameters of maybe areas you want to discuss, and maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to do something completely different. But what I got here is location for builds, title versus tax declarations. Could talk about that in terms of finding a spot. The infrastructure that you want to look at in terms of finding a location, hospitals, shopping, schools, that kind of stuff. Then you got soil conditions, site conditions, differences in construction materials here from our homelands, either Britain or Canada or the US, labor costs, material costs and benefits. It's amazing that stainless steel's, it's pretty cheap here, and granite is cheap here relative to Canada anyway. And window considerations, because they're just single pane here. We're used to double panes in Canada. And then risks in construction. The British expat covered that a while back about liability. Hiring a contractor. We're doing a design build here, so that might be of interest to you, where you got the builder dealing with it. And then autonomous building off grid, solar panels and wells, and then air conditioning and swimming pools. That's it, basically. So let me know what you want to talk about. And I'll sit here and drink my coffee until somebody makes a comment. I watched some of yours, John, on your neighbor's construction. What amazes me is the likeness of some of the structural components. I was watching Wilma and Greg, and they're building houses too. And like, if you look at my videos, when they put the rebar in, they reinforce it, they wrap it around, and then they go across. So there's a square and a diamond. So it's got bilateral support across the structure. And then we went with 20 millimeter rebar as opposed to 16. Now, in the upper floors we'll go with 16 because it's lighter. We want to take the weight. So, down to one. Just you and me, John? Yeah. So, how are you doing? Well, I'll sit here and eat my banana bread until somebody makes a comment. Here we go. Oh, expat Ian's still there. They had a brownout. Oh, it's over now. Okay. So, How come you get so many browns? They're up in, aren't you up in Luzon? Maybe being closer to the big city of Manila, you'd have no problems. But you're in the, you and Mr. Childs are both out in the provinces, right? We get them here. Oh, still a brown. Not good. They must have known I was doing a live and you'd be contacting me. So you did 5 hours. You had a record there for live streams there. I'm not going to try and beat that in no way. I just trying to gather some information here. If you've got some construction, we went over stainless steel on your live stream, Ian. Can't be magnetic. And the Philippines is in a good location because they apparently got a lot of nickel here. Oh, well, good to have that data, I guess. I'm cheap. I only use that for like if I have an emergency bank or lawyer issue. Speaking of which, I sold my property over a week ago, and there's still a hold on the check back in Canada. I don't know what that's about. I thought they were certified checks coming from lawyers. Yeah. Well, yeah, we're up to the second level now, and just playing around with the staircase, seeing how I'm going to bring it up to the upper floors. Making it a little larger gives you a bit more room. So I want to try and make this entry stairwell a little bit more. Another truck hit the pole. Gee, they hit the poles a lot out there. That says something for underground wiring, doesn't it? Anyway, yeah. Well, we had a problem with the complex. We couldn't bring a cement truck in here because the wires are so low, and so we're trying to work our way around it. The guys mixed it all by hand. Can you believe that slab on the first floor? The whole thing was done by hand. You can catch it on the video there on week, was it week 13? Anyway, or was it week 12? It was week 12. Anyway, yeah, and there's 11 of them. So at $450 a man per day. So that's what 4,950 pesos per day, which is 5,000 pesos would be $200, right? No, not even that. 10,000 is $250. So it'd be $125 for everyone per the day. Sorry, I missed that last comment there. I don't know why it keeps disappearing every time I steer away. Well, anyway, yeah. So when you consider the costs, a whole crew for $125 a day mixing cement, you couldn't get cement delivered for that in North America. So it's a pretty good deal. But I'm looking into buying them a cement mixer here. Don't let them know that, but that's the plan. Help them out. So yeah, this guy that they've got working with me, Dexter, he's great guy. He's a Christian and lives by his rules. His wife's a nurse, and I've known him for probably going on 5-6 years, and he's built a few other places here within the complex. So I have a real good comfort zone with him. But brownouts, yeah, how do you prevent a brownout? You're gonna have to get solar panels, I guess, Ian. I think that's part of the plan too, because I'm removing the tapered roof, and I'm going to go with a flat roof, and I'm going to put solar panels on top, just expressly for that purpose. I don't have to deal with brownouts or whatever. And I hope to build a frame that if there's ever a typhoon or something, I can just disconnect them all and tuck them all inside the house so that they can be protected. It's sort of a plug and play kind of thing I'm hoping to set up. So that's the idea. Uh, the worker's salary was calculated with the total cost of the house. Yeah, we've got the labor costs for the whole thing is 1 point. Well, initially it was 1.3 million for a 4 level house, but when we did the drill hole for the soil testing, which strangely enough, this whole development was done without it. But I decided to be safe because there was another fellow who started construction down by the riverside of it, and it slumped, and now he's stuck. He's gone bankrupt. The thing's sitting there vacant, unfinished. So yeah, I had him drill a hole and found out that the soil, particularly on the front side of the old front side of the house, was not sustainable for a fourth floor. So we kept the size of the rebar for a fourth floor, and we're only going to go to three. So thank goodness for that. So that's why I had soil conditions on my list as things to discuss, because that's critical. And here in the Philippines, you'll notice that the mountain blue in Negros, what's it called, Cagalan or whatever mountain, it blew its stack. It does it every so often, but I was watching the graphics. I did a little video on that too. I took some information from another site that there's so many stratified layers in the Philippines because the volcanic upswelling under the made all these islands. Like the Chocolate Hills are all bumps of various uh, stretching of the soil because of the volcanic activity underneath. And these islands, there's a whole chain of them, right? Uh, 1.5 meters. You had groundwater there. Yeah, yeah. It got a little wet there too. We're on a well too, so I didn't want to get anywhere near that as well. So, but yeah, when we went down, and you'll see it in the videos, it's kind of stratified and it's black. It's a black sand, like a volcanic sand. So at some time there was an eruption here millennium ago, and it settled a whole layer of this, not even pea size. It's small, black, grainy sand. It'd be great for mixing cement anyway. I thought it was black soil initially. I was all excited. I was going to have a great garden, but no, it's just black volcanic sand. So, but that being said, apparently it's still rich in nutrients if you mix it up. Volcanic soil is supposed to be very good for growing stuff. So yeah, we got limestone we're dealing with. Uh, that's old extinct coral reefs that have been just pushed up by the volcanic activity. So we've got a whole layer of that. There's white coral rock limestone all over the place, and that's why it makes sense to build everything out of cement in the Philippines anyway, because you got all this limestone, and you're in an earthquake zone anyway. And uh, I was looking at some of the design features of the original construction. Here, they tried to do like a Spanish adobe kind of look with some of the old wooden beams that poke through the concrete walls. Well, the ants and termites all got to the wood, and it's all eaten. So a lot of the neighbors have these little square patches where the 2x6s went through the wall initially, and they've cut them off and cemented them over, and it looks tacky and crap. They should have done a different design, but that's the hazard of wood here in the Philippines. So, although I would say they're great for doors, that's about it. Hey, how you doing, Justin? Well, we're renovating. We're renovating here in Cebu. We're building a three-story structure over the side of our old two-story structure, and it'll be about 2,500 square feet when we're done. I still think in terms of feet. Um, but the actual lot size is 8 meters by 10 meters, and we have an overhang we're allowed, so we're going to do that. So it'll have balconies and that. Yeah. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Critter Hunter, uh, Justin has some fantastic videos that he's really good with the camera. Surprisingly, how it's like National Geographic quality or better, and he gets in real close to those little fairy shrimp, and uh, he educates you too, as well as what these critters are doing, and it's hence it's called Critter Republic in Darwin, and I got recertified in my diving certificate there with Justin's crew there, and yeah, it was a great experience. They're down at the Sierra Hotel, and he's got a new sign out there by the road with a black sign with a yellow octopus on it. You'll catch it on the road, and I've been diving around the world years ago. I mean, Mexico and the West Coast, and anyway, I got to admit that the Critter Republic wins hands down on any of the others over their professionalism and their safety procedures. So if you're an old fart like me and you're looking to try something, tick something else off of your bucket list, look them up. It's Critter Republic, and yeah, no problem. I appreciate all you've done for you and your community. I mean, um, Justin has his own channel, Critter Hunter, and I encourage you all to like, share, and subscribe on his. But while I'm at it, I'm bad at this. I just put the like, share, and subscribe logo at the end of all my videos. I don't really mention it much, but I really appreciate all the new subscribers that have come on board. Um, and yeah, we're growing. I don't know whether I'll do this forever, but I enjoy doing it now and sharing the life of a family in the Philippines, especially with everybody talks about the age gap relationship and what that's about. And so my wife and I are 36 years apart. She's 34 this year, and I'll be 71 this month. So yeah, and it's it doesn't matter what age you marry a woman; they never listen anyway. So yeah, yeah. Yeah, expat Ian. That's another one. Expat Ian, if you want to see the British perspective, take a look at expat Ian, an ex-serviceman, military who spent 10 years in China. So yeah, he has his own slant on the situation here in the Philippines. Sorry, bad joke. Anyway, uh, so yeah, it's cloudy here today in Cebu. Rain season's upon us. Thank God. You see all the rain in Negros now. They got lots of volcanic dust blowing all over the place. So, yeah, let me just bring up some of the points that I'm hoping you guys will come forward with. So we mentioned soil conditions and labor costs, locations for builds. Yeah, I'm going to be looking. I scouted out. I've been to the Bohol area and Leyte and Samar and through Bantayan and Malapascua and so this area generally. And before I did that, I also did a political search and different zones for. I looked at everything from malaria to volcanoes to terrorist threats and all the rest of it. And when we were over at the Dunlap Hotel, just across the way, there was some farmer that got shot for being a terrorist in Negros. So I don't think Negros has much appeal for me, being that there's an active volcano there. But what I've seemed to have narrowed it down in terms of location. That one's nice. I mean, they're nice people there. Critter Hunter's down there. He's got a great diving shop. I told you that. I'm hoping he'll take his boat up and come and visit us here in the island of Cebu. But within the island of Cebu, we've already got some of the best beaches in the Philippines that people they aren't even aware about in the province of Cebu. So Bantayan and San Remigio's is one of the longest. That's the longest white sand beach in Cebu is around San Remigio's. It goes all the way around in Bogo, and finding land up there is a little tricky for finding title. But Leyte, no, I've been. My wife, we looked at Leyte, and we decided not to go with that. Do you know the hollow block thing? My thought is to make the blocks flush with the posts in the inner walls and less rendering on the corners. Yeah, that I've thought about that too, Jamie. Especially when you're going with a larger, taller structure, your columns are quite big, and so you're going to get an issue there of the protrusions. You can't really tuck your furniture in the corner if there's a great big beam in the way. Um, I decided maybe I'll feather some of the corners in to mask it. Maybe not have a square corner, maybe a round in some cases. We're going to do that in the staircases to hide all the structure members there. We're going to make it rounder and smooth it out. Um, but yeah, the thing is, if you put them on the outside, they'll stand out there too, unless you're going to go with an exaggerated look with the brick and really build it up and make it look like a fortress. There's that too. But no, so it depends on the location of that. I've looked at that, and that's I don't know, design architectural thing. We've got right smack dab in the middle of our main floor is a column, so we're going to build that. Yeah. So no, I'm not in Leyte. I'm in Cebu, actually in Talamban in Cebu, which if you're new to the Philippines, and yeah, Jamie just arrived in Davao, right? Out of you got the jet lag, don't you? um, so yeah, in terms of first settling here, you should do your research on safe communities. Or Moc in Leyte is very safe. It's one of the safest places after Davao in the Philippines. I'd stay away from Manila in a large part. Yeah, yeah. No, it's okay, Jamie. Anytime. Um, Glad to see you here. Yeah, Jamie has been back and forth. He's just arrived. He's a newbie. Arrived like was it last night? So he's still got the jet lag. Take it easy on yourself. Oh, and the beach is beautiful. Yes, yes. Actually, that's the only part of Bohol I'd be interested in. Yes, the prices are going up there now too because the word is starting to get out. There's a guy out there, a young American fellow. What's his name? It's called Philippine Journey or something like that. Oh, I got the flu. Sure didn't. You sure? You sure it wasn't COVID-22? Yeah, that's the problem with airplanes. You're in one tube breathing everybody's air. I always shut the air right off on the flight because you're just breathing everybody else's air. The less you consume, the better. And wear your mask on the flight, always advisable. There was a story one time about when they did this big rescue flight to Canada from Syria. They took all those refugees, and when they flew back, a whole bunch of Air Canada employees got tuberculosis from these refugees that were loaded onto the plane. So yeah, you always got to watch it when you're traveling. I was wondering about if a dengue mosquito were to, you know, stow away on board a flight and land in Toronto. If you'd arrive in Toronto airport and catch dengue. Anyway, uh, but now the survival rates on that are a lot better than they used to be, so I'm not as worried about it. I had it once for sure, possibly twice. If you do get dengue, take the leaves of the papaya plant, put it in the blender, and take that. It's bitter as hell, but oh, you can't drink free booze. Yeah, well, yeah. If it's free pour, yeah, dengue. Yeah, he's over it though now, right? Yeah, no. Uh, I just sent a message to his dad the other day. He's in rough shape, and let's all pray for Jules. Jules of the Philippines. They have a family channel there. Yeah, you can check him out as well. And certainly, if you just subscribe to Jules in the Philippines, just like anything, if you want to help any of these guys financially, they get monetized after 1,000 views. So everything that adds up, and the more you can do that, the more you're helping them out. That's why I like to support Justin because he does good works for the community. He brings on people that he trains and teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. That's what he's doing. He's helping people get ahead. So I love that stuff. So, and yeah, let's all pray for Jules. Oh, he's in the hospital now, right? Yeah. Yeah, second and third. Yeah, they say that dengue is repetitively. But when you get dengue, apparently you're immune to dengue. There's like four types, And if you get any one of the types, you're immune to all types for about 6 months. So you're invulnerable after that. But then that that immunity disappears, and the second time around, it gets worse. So yeah, you have to watch out about the it bleeding apart your organs. So and keeping hydrated. So they do a blood count your red blood cells. Mine went down to 22,000, and so they hospitalized me. Um, Apparently, if it goes below 50, they do that. So uh, yeah. Well, it's amazing how many Filipinos do. My nephews, I have one nephew who's had it 3 times, and he's still kicking. Yeah, little Angelo, he's got the crap beaten out of him. Different things happening. Sometimes, some people just have a cloud that follow them around all their life. But anyway, what do you think about this topic about construction, boys and girls? Swimming pools. Yeah, just one thing I noticed that here in the Philippines, and may not be aware of it, in North America, especially in Canada, you're required by law to have two drains within 3 feet of each other at the bottom of the pool. And the reason for that is that when the girls go swimming with their long hair and it gets trapped in the drain and they're drowning, if you have a second drain, it breaks the suction so that you can actually pull her away from the drain. If you only have one drain and she's stuck there, you're going to have to run inside, turn off the pump, and get back in the water and hopefully pull her out before she's got her last breath of air. And she's probably, Justin Carmack, she can't hold her breath forever, so she's going to be pretty much gone. So make sure you put that secondary drain in your swimming pool. And then, has anybody done whole house air conditioning? I've got this little unit here, like that. That's I don't know, what would it cost me? 15,000 pesos, something like that. 18,000 pesos. Cool as a room. Yeah, panic people don't hold their breath at all because the natural instinct is suck it in. Yeah, yeah. And the other thing too here is the way the pools are built. I built swimming pools for 4 years in southern Ontario, and it's a completely different setup here. It's all concrete. I watched one guy in, I guess he was somewhere in Eastern Europe, and yeah, he built it all wrong. He's got leaks. He's going to have leaks all his life because he didn't reinforce the connection between the walls and the floor of the pool. But we could get into that. I did one video on swimming pools. In fact, I got like over 650 videos. There's plenty to watch if you want to watch. You know, stuff from way back. Some of it's political though. Yeah, swimming pools are a liability, especially with kids. Amazingly enough, the Filipinos don't swim much. I don't know. They stick in the mountains. Maybe they're afraid of the sea. Um, but that's why you hear every time there's a long weekend or a holiday, how many more Filipinos drown, how many drowning deaths there are. And then they go out into the ocean to wade, and then the currents in some of these islands are pretty wild. They get swept out and dragged out to sea, and that's what happens. So yeah, teach your kids to swim. That's the safest thing. Don't rely on fences. You're 60, your son is 8, your wife is 34. Okay, so you're not as bad as me then. Uh, Age gap relationships. Yeah, I'm 71 this month. When's your birthday? Hercules? June 23rd is me. Yeah. I don't think you're supposed to put that information out. Anyway, yeah. Well, it's nice to live next to the beach. That's another thing too. We're looking at locations, right? Oh my God, that's not a good job to do. Yeah. Yeah, my wife's birthday is June 29th too, so yeah, I think there's a range for heat pumps. Yeah, maintaining a pool. It's easier to swim in the ocean. Yeah. I always thought If you live near the coastline, what would it take to just run a pipe into the ocean and just have a circulating pump? Just pump seawater into your pool all the time. You never have to worry about chemistry. And I mean, if there's a red tide in the ocean, you're going to have a red tide in your pool, but um, then you can just have the water circulate, run a filter to keep the growth out. Yeah, salt pools make sense. Yeah. They noticed something too in Ontario is the saltwater pools attract bees. They come there and they congregate around some of the outlets. You'll see masses of bees, and sometimes they're on the stairs to the pool, and somebody gets stung if they're allergic. That's a problem. But yeah, the salt will attract animals who want to get their electrolytes, I guess. So, and the other thing about here in the swimming pools is there's no deck. They're a lot of them are built and they're just out in the. We got one here in the complex, and as soon as you step out of the pool, you're in the grass and the mud and the rocks, and you get your feet all dirty, and all gets dragged in the pool. Oh, nice! That's a nice house, Hercules. 1,140 square meter lot. That's a decent size, and Valencia's cool, so that's smart. Well, yeah, you're right about the salt water. That's the problem too. Is when you're dealing with windows and frames and that, just the salt air off the ocean, it's saturated with salt, so that will attack all your metal, iron, and that. So that's why I use a lot of aluminum, but even that corrodes to some degree. So anodized aluminum is what we'll probably be using. We've got right now just painted iron. Yeah, 100 paces a day is a pretty good deal for pool maintenance. Yeah, and there's all kinds of different kinds of pool cleaning methods. I saw an electrolysis one, a copper one, a saltwater one, the standard liquid chlorine one. Um, the thing about saltwater pools, you just throw the salt in the pool and it breaks it down to chlorine through the chlorination breakdown of the NaCl, sodium hydroxide, and the chlorine. It gets put back in the water. Then you got all the sodium hydroxide you don't know what to do with. Yeah, I was there when they're doing the experimental phase of that years ago in Vancouver, and we had a problem getting rid of all the sodium hydroxide. So, yeah, who's got a construction project going on right now? Anybody out there who's looking at? We got five viewers right now. Yeah, salt water. I use it for cleansing. My wife loves it for her hair. She'll loves to go into the ocean and just give her hair a good soak, and yeah. But when you get out, it kind of picks at you because it starts drying out and the salt starts settling into your skin. So you should hold yourself down afterwards. Yeah, yeah, it's great for your feet. Well, just walking along the beach, it's like having an emery cloth cleansing of your feet. Yeah. And if you want your feet and your calves really cleaned, take a Thai fish cleaning massage. 2-story studio. Really? Well, I'll have to check that out. Yeah. So yeah, so my plan now is to finish this project, and I'm hoping to help Dexter develop his company and maybe get some more construction going and do some development. I can't sit around here anymore. Just, I mean, the kids are great, but yeah, no, that's nice. Uh, Good to have the view and the breeze. So that's what I was thinking too, because the wife's afraid of tsunamis and typhoons and that kind of thing. But I can't see a tsunami having much effect in the Philippines unless you're on the east coast. Okay, I'll have to look that one up. I may have actually looked at some of them. Yeah, we tried Hercules. We tried North America with my wife, and a jealous Filipino in a Western society is not a great idea. Uh, yeah, no, we did a year, and she couldn't wait to get home. Um, You know, when you're that lonely and you miss your family, the imagination takes charge. And she started imagining all kinds of things that, you know, I was supposed to be cheating on her and all the rest of it, which is ridiculous. Why would I with a Filipina? So I'm happy back here, and she's happy too. She's actually probably happier now than ever she's ever been because if she's not, I'll bring her back to North America and she'll have to suffer. The other thing too is she can be a full-time mom here, no problem. And in North America, the costs are higher. And me being retired, so that was the idea. So we sold some of the property, and we're settling here. Yeah, when during COVID, I did a lot of FaceTime on Messenger with my wife too. Um, you know, it's a it's a lonely existence. Bohol is nice, you know, especially on the beach down that south. We used to go years ago to Panglao and Alona Beach, and it was actually quite crowded back then, but not over the top. And now I hear it's, now they've got an airport in there, and that's the other thing too. The Philippines is, you know, you're lucky if you're here now because in a couple of years people will not be able to afford to come to the Philippines. The middle class is growing in the Philippines. I've seen these videos, Paul McGill and others talking about and questioning, are foreigners raising the price of everything in the Philippines? Are they ruining it for everybody? No, it's not so much the foreigners. The Philippine economy is doing very well. Yeah, so Panglao was crazy. I had a chance to buy a very small lot right on the beach at the end of Panglao for 4 million pesos back in the day. Yeah, yeah. Well, when you're with your Filipinos 24/7. That's the other thing too. Great because I'm here now. Her safety zone is greater. So now, I mean, I told her I'm doing a live stream. She's taking the kids out for a couple of hours to free things up. That's her over there. So yeah, I can see the kids were at our wedding. We didn't wait around. Well, initially, Catholic Church wouldn't handle it because we'd been married twice before, and so finally I said, "Screw it, we're going to go civic wedding." Yeah, Justin, I really encourage you to take a look at the north end of Cebu Island. There's some beautiful beaches there. Go spend a weekend at Dunlap Resort and check that out. Or, well, you've got your boat coming. Do a tour around. You can go right around up a dock in Malapascua and go around the island there, and then scoot over to Paradise Island and Bantayan and then go down the coast. There's San Mauricio. There's all kinds of white sand beaches there, and great diving waters too, because there's diving centers there in Malapascua. Yeah, there is. Malapascua got some bad press years ago, and it kind of put a damper on things. There was a British expat who opened up a dive shop there. I don't know if you know the story or not, but he had a security guard who would show up drunk all the time, and finally he had enough, and he fired the guy, and the guy went home, got his gun, and went back and shot the British fellow. And then Malapascua had sort of a pall and told, "Oh, don't go to Malapascua, it's dangerous," because of one guy. And that's the thing about the Philippines. They get a lot of bad press. They encourage it because they're so dramatic. Like if something happens in the Philippines, the whole world knows about it. How many people die in Chicago every day and nobody gives a shit? But a couple of Canadians get beheaded by terrorists in the northern tip of Sulu Island towards Indonesia, like on the far fringes of the Philippines. And the whole Philippines, all 7,641 islands, are overrun by terrorists. Don't go there. Which that's been great in terms of getting in here at a low cost because of that scare. That's helped keep some of the cost down, I think, for the us earlier guys. I mean, we've been here 14 years now, so um, yeah. Actually, we bought this place coming up 8 years now, and so we decided to do a renovation here because we are here, and we'll start with that. So yeah, I just want to get back to Dexter, and he built and worked in Saudi Arabia. He's an electrician, and he knows his stuff. He's going to do some great lighting in terms of the development we're doing. Uh, okay, Ian. Talk to you later. Take care. Yeah, yeah. So and if you have a Filipino, the if they're not belting out the blues on their karaoke machine, they've got the drama thing playing in the background, and they don't care if it's Philippine drama. It could be what is it here? Right, my house in California, swallow my cars, give up a US heart. Oh, 69 Camaro. Yeah, I would cry. Yeah, I had a few cars I loved. My little MG was the most fun. Actually, that was surpassed by my Miata. It's funny people say that a Miata is the number one choice for gay men, but I'll tell you, it's a sporty little preppy little thing, and got a lot of looks. I remember my nephew freaked out when I pulled a 360 on a clutch shift one time. He couldn't believe it. Anyway, yeah, a lot of fun. So vehicles in the Philippines. Has anybody seen these Chet tours? They're new. They're a division of Cherry Motors. They're they got a little SUV. Looks a bit like a Toyota FJ Cruiser or a Jeep. Um, we're thinking if we go up country, we'll might get a better vehicle. But right now, for us, the Wego is all we need. Um, it sold for 700,000 pesos. No, Hercules, you owe nothing. You don't know nothing. Are you doing voice typing here? You know something, Hercules. You know how to tear down a temple with your bare hands. Yeah. So I cut my hair. Yeah. 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 I had long hair, and it's just a hassle in the heat. Um, so for expediency, I did that. Yeah. So what else have we got here? So, the other thing I want to talk about was gutters. You know, people put these rooftop gutters. We got them up here. You can see them up there in my neighbors. So they just accumulate all the blown about leaves and dirt and stuff, and eventually they plug, and then they corrode and they leak anyway. I'm thinking about putting it all with a flat, slightly tapered roof and just have the thing uh, go right to the ground without gutters. The only place you really need a gutter is over the entranceway, so you don't get drenched when you're knocking on somebody's door. But for the perimeter, leave it alone. That was one other thought I had. What other things have we got here? We talked air conditioning, we talked swimming pools, autonomous buildings, building off grid. Anybody thinking about building off grid? Well, we had up in Valencia. I have a fuel would be perfect for up in the hills here. Pajeros. A few older Pajeros. I'm at my single. Yeah. Michigan. Yeah. Nice area. Get the wind off the lake, so don't you? Yeah. I got a daughter in Winnipeg, north of you. Um, Pretty wide open country. So yeah, off grid. Anybody doing a solar system? I watched Wilma and Greg. They put one in, and then Finn Snow. He's got something going with his place. So maybe that's where we'll go. Um, I put I put solar panels in my place in Ontario and sold the property, and it was supposed to be a deal with Hydro One, Ontario's hydro company and utility, and the guys took the solar panels down, took off, and shortchanged me about 15 years of generated energy revenue I was supposed to get. So I don't think I'll pull that stunt again. You got to watch these government programs. They don't protect the consumer really very much. But it just makes sense when you get a fair bit of sun here in the tropics. Um, Pretty well find a pretty much a dependable source of electricity. Is it raining now? Yep, started to rain. So right now we're about a little over 1 million pesos in terms of the construction, probably about 1,200,000, which would be about $50,000 or $25,000 Canadian. Yeah, the screens. Then the screens get covered. California's corrupt. Well, I'm a bit reticent about talking about the American political situation. Um, a lot of people think I'm a Republican leading. Actually, I'm a libertarian. That way, nobody likes you. But you got some serious conditions that are going on right there, and my prayers are with the American people. They're definitely not with your military industrial complex, which has perpetually driven you into wars that you've had to pay for as American taxpayers. So, anyway, I think American people are waking up, and say what you like about Donald Trump. If nothing else, he woke the nation up. I mean, you've had better participation rates in your elections than you have in decades. So, got to give him credit for that. And then we'll move off that. That's why a lot of Americans and Canadians and Europeans are looking at Southeast Asia. Why would you want to come here? Well, it's all about knowing when to. It's all about knowing when to move on. You know, um, my family came to America in 1658, and they fled America in 1778. And I left Quebec in 1980. Went to the West Coast, and then I left the West Coast in 2000 and what was it? 2010, and now I've left Canada pretty much altogether. Um, so kind of a nomadic life. The sad part about that is that you lose contact with old friends. I've got thank God for the internet. I mean, I've got friends from when I was in primary school that still we're still in touch. They they don't subscribe, but they like their lives private. Um, but yeah, guys I sang in the choir with. Yeah, that interview with Tom Massey was a real eye opener. Um, Tucker Carlson, um, he's a real patriot. You're lucky to have a guy like him. He's got to be on somebody's list. It's not just Ukraine that wants him dead. Anyway, speaking of words you can't say on YouTube, there's a what do you call it, community guidelines that you have to subscribe to. Okay, Jamie, thanks for dropping by. You got to yeah, get your rest. Yeah, I think Native American Indian, Hercules. All right, yeah. I went to school with guys from Kanasawagi. Actually, I had the whole hockey team on top of me, pounding me away for tripping their forward once when I was 13 years old. Yeah, had some interesting tales to tell. And actually, if you can befriend a native, and I'm not talking about some guy who grew up in the back alleys of Vancouver. I'm talking about a guy who's actually grew up in the reserves, knows how to hunt and fish and trap. Some of the best people in the world. They're what do you call them? Salt of the earth. Yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, our native population in Canada, I don't know what's like in the States, probably much the same. We've had just a blight of suicide and drug abuse. And I had one fellow who I tried to help. 11 of members of his family committed suicide. He was like the last remaining member, and they're like he was on a death watch. So it's sad to say they need hope. Yeah. YouTube police, they can come and visit me anytime. Yeah. Never had a strike. Um, and when I first started this, I started with following the other YouTubers. And actually, Paul McGill, Old Dog New Tricks, was one of them I used to watch. And I used to watch Every Man Has a Story. Unfortunately, Mark Thornton's gone off the rails. I warned him he's going to destroy everything that he's built. But anyway, fools don't listen. So he called me a fool instead. So maybe I am for trying to warn him. But anyway, I was watching these guys, and some of them fallen by the wayside. And then some of the guys I watched initially, I saw other YouTubers attacking them, and part of it was envy and all the rest of it. And you can follow my thoughts. My number one most popular video, which I've half a mind to take it down half the time. It's why does everybody hate Tim K? You can look that one up, but it's crab pot mentality. That's what it comes down to. They can't stand somebody else getting ahead, especially if they think they're in a similar life situation. Some of these guys are ex-vets, and uh, Tim K's an ex-vet. I wish the guy no harm, but he's also part of the architect of his own misery. So we'll leave that one alone. And I really don't like talking about other YouTubers unless it's in a positive tone. And that's why I'm happy to talk about Justin Carmack. I'm happy to talk about Wilma and Greg or James, Texas Filipino. These are all good people. And Jules. Jules is just, you know what? I said to Jules, we need more guys like you to help mellow the internet out. And here God's working his darndest to claim him for his own. So, anyway, we wish you all the best. So, we're at 52 minutes here, boys and girls, and I didn't learn a whole lot from you guys other than where you're building and not what you're building. I hope you'll correspond with me. My email address is philcartmel@gmail.com, and or you can just send me messages through any one of my videos. Hopefully you'll follow and subscribe and share with your friends. Um, there's no reason why, other than the fact that I'm boring, why the channel doesn't explode overnight. Because there's enough videos out there. You got to find something you like. Um, but Leah and Greg, they pointed out that I got to find a niche of what to follow. And so I did start a separate channel called Phil's Philippine Fantasy Fables or something like that. And I just put all my construction videos on that, a copy of what I've got on at the Phil Cartmel experience. So you can, if you just want to follow the construction end of it, you can go over to that one there. And then you can not have to deal with all the other crap and stories that I deal with. But I just did one on titles versus tax declarations, 3 rules when buying real estate. You can look at that one. And then the idea of dealing with the locals. I like to learn more about that. I know I'm sort of isolated from the barangay captain, but and I would, if I was like, and when I go up island and we develop there, I'll want to meet with the barangay and get to know the people there and what tradespeople and suppliers I can deal with, so that I can get a grasp of where things are and where I can get some quality goods. And who knows, maybe start off some other seed capital for some other companies. We're looking at getting a cement mixer initially. Maybe we'll be making our own cement blocks. And that we won't do that here in Cebu. We'll do that up island and see what else needs to be developed. So that's the intention, is to build and develop and grow something out of that, depending on how much capital I've got left to work with after I sell my property there in Canada. So hopefully the bank will release the funds and I can get rolling on this. And we're looking at something, ideally maybe 500 square meters, maybe less than 1,000 meters from the shoreline to White Sand Beach. for access. It'd be kind of nice to have a barangay boat to bunker boat to maybe have a little one there to go fishing with my son. So that's uh, that's the intention here. We're down to 3 people. So who we got here? Oh, four. We got four now. Hello. Is that somebody coming back or is that someone new? Um, I've initially posted this wrong, saying it was Monday night in America when it was Monday morning here, and everybody knows it's Sunday night. The 12-hour time difference goes the other way. But anyway, so that's why there was a correction notice of this. And I don't do a lot of live streams. This is actually the second full one I've ever done, and probably the longest too. But yeah, I'd like to know about your experiences dealing with barangay captains. Everybody talks about corruption in every country of the world, and I don't see it so much as corruption as human greed, and people trying to take care of themselves on their own. Um, but everybody says the Filipino is friendly, yeah, they're friendly, but they're also looking out for themselves as well. So when they meet up with you, they're also in the back of the mind saying, "What's in it for me?" Which is a human trait. I mean, they don't want to invest a whole lot of time and energy in getting to know you, only to have you burn them. We all know that from our North American experience, right? So why would they be any different? So my point here is that you know a lot of people talk about transactional relationships, referring it to it on some kind of sexual level with the women. But I'm saying that in every circumstance, there's some transactional relationships where you want to be able to be sure that you're getting some kind of reciprocal uh, feeling or sentiment from the other party. And sometimes it's money, sometimes it's respect, sometimes it's payola or paying your dues. So be aware of that. And don't be surprised when it shows up. You don't have to go right away to corruption and scam on the first incidents or whatever. Try and understand the circumstances. These people are a generation from poverty. There was a rich nation once and they lost it all to places like Hong Kong and Singapore, and now they're on the road back. And they've got some catch up to do. So when you're Filipinos ordering the cheap junk jewelry or buying small amounts when you realize you're not making any savings on the purchase over the long term, it's a mentality that's set itself in for a long time. So anyway, I'm getting a bit preachy here, and we're coming up to an hour, which is long for me. My videos are, for the most part, 10 minutes. So, and I believe, why say something in 10 words if you can say it in two? So I'll close it off here at the 1 hour mark. And I want to thank you all for dropping by. We're not getting any more written comments here. So it's just you and me, and baby makes three. So have a great one, and may you be an hour in heaven before the devil knows you're dead. Okay. Thanks, Justin. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks, Journey, with our Miracle Premiere, and Hercules. And Jamie, you take care of yourself. God bless. Bye-bye. How do I close this thing off?